Hi everyone, I'm going to make a collage today. I'm in the mood for vintage, and before we start I want to talk to you about what you can use for this kind of thing. And I'm going to make this collage on watercolor paper from this pad. This is an A3 size. You can do it on whatever you want, just make sure you have a thick paper, so because there's going to be a lot of glue. Now you don't have to have all those expensive designer paper that you can buy in shops. You can use whatever you have, and I will explain what I'm talking about. And I do have some bought designer paper, but first of all, you can use book pages. Now this one, for example, is from a dictionary, an art dictionary that I bought used for £1 when I was in London. And as you can see, I'm using it for all kinds of wipe up excess paint, and also taking out pages and using them. Now if you wanted to make the pages more vintage like, you can even stain them and make them more brown or whatever shade that you think you want. You can coffee dye, you can stain tea stain. Only make sure when you are doing a tea stain you need it to be very concentrated to make an effect. Coffee stain, be sure that you can stand the smell, because it stays with the pages for at least a year. I have here some. This was just printer paper. It got coffee stained, and I've stamped it, and it took a year to get rid of the smell. Now it's really nice and I can work with it. So this is one option. All kinds of book pages, if they are old, like old pocket books that get this kind of color with time. This one was bought like 3 decades ago, second-hand, and it also got water damaged, and then I put it in the sun so to dry, and that's what I have. So I've got these lovely pages to use. Now of course you can stamp it and just add interest. Here I just stamped this butterfly. If you stamp brown with a brown ink on something like that, it would look even more vintage. So these are the two options. Now any kind of brown paper, like takeout bags, and I had this scrapbook paper that was brown. I just started layering stamps. I made a video a few weeks, I don't know. I made a video about layering stamps, that it really doesn't matter what you are using. Just take something that you like and start playing on. And here we go, another 2 pieces to work. Now these are leftovers from Tim Holtz 12 by 12 paper, all kinds of brochures, and you can use this was printed from the internet. There are a lot of websites that you can print free images, like the Graphic Fairy. So that's a 12 by 12, and of course music sheets. And again, if it's not brown enough, stain it. You can also use water-based wood stain. Works beautifully on this. Maps, old maps. What else? Also you can use pattern paper from like Burda for making dresses and stuff. This was as you can see, I didn't like the shade, so I just here I've used watercolors, and I don't remember something else, maybe some ink from an ink pad. So lots of options to use in your vintage whatever, if you want to do a collage like I'm planning to do now. And the collage is basically the base, the background, and it's layering and it's also texture. As I said, I'm going to use this A3 watercolor paper, and I'm going to start cutting all kinds of rectangles. If I already got like this, that's great, but other stuff I need to cut down, so I will have lots of sizes and pieces to play with. These are okay size because I've got all this large page to fill, but like this one, I'm thinking that I will take only parts of this page, only parts that interest me. So I'm just eyeballing it, I'm not measuring anything. I like this clock that I have here, so that's what I'm taking out. And here is a piece to work with. I like this one. You don't have to have this kind of paper trimmer. You can just use scissors. Sometimes this is just faster. It really depends on my mood what I'm using. I do try to make it straight, but I'm not really concerned about it. I like this piece here. I also got pages from some kind of ledger that someone sent me in Happy Mail, so I'll probably use it. And let's take a little bit of music sheet, and right now I'm leaving it as is. If I will see that it's just too bright for my page, then I will stain it. Right now I just want some pieces that I can play with. I'm trying to put it where I have a straight line. Place it, not put it. Sometimes it's like I'm forgetting how to construct sentences. Never mind. So this is basically it for now. I'm just taking out pieces that I think will be nice to use in this collage, and I'm not sure yet. I will play with it because maybe this will be dark, too dark for this collage. So what I'm doing is continuing to cut rectangles, and I will place the pieces that I really like, and then start to build around them. So first of all, I'll continue to cut rectangles, and I'll be back and we'll start with the play. Okay, I'm back, and I've got here a lot of pieces, and I want to start gluing them down and creating my collage. Now basically it's random, but I do have some guidelines that I use, but up to you. I like to put the darker pieces on the edges, so I will take a piece like this and use it like here, and I'm using just a silicone glue. I like this glue. It dries fast, it's strong. I've been told, this is from my cheap local store, I've been told that something similar is the Eileen Techie Glue, but the clear one, not the white one. So you can try this. I know another one that is the Yoo-Hoo brand, UHU, so like this one. But you can do this with white glue. It will just take longer to put, for the pieces to settle down. So I've got another darker, of course I've got more from the same print, the same page, but I don't want everything to be in the same place. So first I will take another piece that is darker than the others and use it on another corner or edge. And I'm thinking that I'm going to trim this. I don't know why, I just need to take a thinner, smaller piece. Again, there are no rules, it's just eyeballing and deciding as I go where each piece is going and what size it should be. So here we go, another piece here, and now another piece. Now if it's a thick paper, from a 12 by 12, then I'm using the silicone glue. If it's just things like a page from a ledger, printer paper that I've made into some kind of vintagey look, then I can use just any glue that I have. I don't need this for the harder material. And I try, I've done a lot of collages with plain white glue, and they are great. It just takes a lot of time until it dries. And let's see, I think I'll use this. And as I said, this is just printer paper. I'm going to take just a glue stick. Doesn't need more than that. Another thing that I try to do when I'm doing this kind of background collages is to use at least 3 times from the same page, not from the same design on the page. So if I've got this piece here from the coffee dye that I've made, then I will try to put it in 3 places. If I've got this one from a Tim Holtz pad of 12 by 12, then I will try to have it on 3 different places here on my background. So again, another piece. Is going here, and I like to overlap them, and I don't want to have a straight line, so I will not put any piece like that will continue this line. Whatever piece I will put here will have to stick out or whatever, or be like this, just not in the same line, so it will not repeat itself. This is a nice piece and large one, and I'm going to stick it right here. This is only the beginning, and most likely a part of what I've already put will get covered. It depends what it will look like as I go along. if you feel more comfortable, you can try and first put all the pieces that you want, take a photo with your phone, and then glue everything down. I like to play as I go along. Not much to say at the moment. I'm gluing here. Maybe like don't know. I leave it for a minute here, although it has glue. It just doesn't look good to me right now. Let's see, what else can I put on the edges? No. Okay, let's see. Since I don't know yet what I'm putting here, I'm just going to glue down some pieces of the ledger and the music sheet just to start to cover my page. This is too big a piece, and there is a lot of like dead area here with no interest, so I'm going to trim it. That's better. You see, I'm just playing around, putting down pieces, and let's see. No, maybe I'll put it here. No, let's see, what else do I have here? Here we go. Maybe like this. Yeah. I hope you can see what I'm doing. A3 is quite a large page, so I hope I'm in frame and you can see what the heck I'm doing. Although it's just gluing. No. What else do I have? Maybe here. Or here. Yeah. And this one can be here. Trying to make it go a little bit faster. Yeah, so something like that. And I'm going to continue gluing down pieces, and I think then I'll come back and we'll continue. I'm back. So this is the first layer, all this collage background, and I have tracing paper, pattern tracing paper, and I figured it's a little bit transparent, translucent, and I can take out like this piece and maybe incorporate it, and it will just add to the mix. So I'm going to cut this piece and glue it down. And then I wanted to see, I don't know, it's very flimsy, and I want to punch this area with a punch I have, but don't know if it will work. What I want to try is put it in between two book pages, or you can try with a printer paper, and take the punch, and let's see if it will work. Let's see, approximately here what I want to punch. Here we go. Let's see what I got. Yeah, here it is. Very flimsy, very delicate, and two pieces all from a book page now. So let's try this one and see how it goes before I'm gluing this piece. I'm going to try and do it very gently. Okay, I've got glue. Let's see. Yo, it's so flimsy. Okay, nice, but I don't know if it's worth the trouble. Maybe when I'll take this piece and not something like this leaf, just a stripe, maybe this will be easier to add. So delicate. Okay, moving all these pieces aside. Yeah, maybe I'll put the glue here instead of the piece, and it will be better. Yeah. Oh, I really like it. I think it really adds a nice touch. Just make sure you have glue everywhere. I'm thinking of, again, 3 pieces each at least. I'm thinking of taking just one more piece to incorporate on the background. I like that I have letters and numbers here. Little bit crooked. Okay, so I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Nope. Here. Trying to cover with glue. Yeah, I like it. So that's my background, and I want my focal image, which is going to be this. Well, it looks like a crow, and John, thank you for sending me this. So let's see, I want it here, and I'm going with black. And let's take and makeup sponge. So I'm gonna put a little bit of paint here. Yeah, and I'm trimming this. I don't need the whole. Yeah, it's easier to work, for me at least, when it's a smaller piece, and I think it's in place. I'll hold these two together, the stencil and the page with the paint, and just patiently, I don't want it to run underneath. I'm using a heavy-bodied black acrylic. It's better to use it with stencils, less chance of it running underneath. Let's see. Oh yeah, I'm in love. Okay, so I'm going to let it dry. Now I'm thinking that I need just a little bit of this black that is just gorgeous on the corners, and I've got just a paper napkin to do this. So I'm going to find it and come back. I'm back, and here is the paper napkin, and already took 2 pieces out from the paper napkin. And first I want to put one here. I'm not so sure about another one here, although that's what I was planning in the beginning. And let's glue it down. I'm gonna use matte medium just because I'm trying to finish it. I was curious. Most of the time I will just use white glue with my paper napkins, and I was curious about this and decided that I want to try it, and now I'm trying to finish it. Here we go. And now on top, and smooth it from the center outside, and use the flat of the brush so it will slide and not drag. I'm not trying to get rid of wrinkles, I'm just trying not to have air bubbles underneath. That's why I'm trying to smooth everything towards the outside. And when it's dry, I will trim any excess that I have. Okay, so this needs to dry, and let's see, do I want the other piece on the top, or maybe something else? No, I will put this piece, but a little bit less of it, and again same process. Just making sure I've got good coverage. I don't skimp on the matte medium, or if I used a white glue, not because I'm afraid it won't adhere to the page, just because I wanted to, if you have enough glue and you work patiently, then it disappears into the background. So here it is, and now I want, let's see, I've got from the same paper napkin, I've got left this butterfly, so I'm thinking, why not? I love butterflies. Where do I want butterflies? Yeah, let's put some here. Really doesn't matter. You see, I smooth it out and it disappears into the background. Do I want more? Let's see, I want to separate these two, so I'm taking a brush with water and going around the two butterflies to separate them. And let's see, putting one here. I really hope I'm in frame. And let's put another one here. I'm thinking of taking another butterfly. I like odd numbers, so I'll just take another butterfly from my paper napkin. Same way. Kind of boring doing looking at me doing the same thing over and over again. Okay. Here it is, and I think I need something that will pop. I really like the black, and I like all this vintage in the background. I want just a little bit of color here, another focal point, I think. So I'm going to let this dry before I'm doing anything else and look for something else to add here, and I'll be back. I'm back. So I wanted another focal point with something that will give just a point of color, and I really wanted a red apple. Don't know why, but I couldn't find one. But so I went again through my stash of paper napkins and found this leaf that I took out from this paper napkin. I just used scissors to take out the image and left a little bit on the side just so it will have more definition, and glued it down. Now I'm going over the edges with black ink and makeup sponge, and I already done this part. I want to speed things along and show you how I'm doing it. So I'm taking a little bit of ink from the ink pad, and I'm going over the edges, and when I feel that most of the ink was spent on the edge, I will take paper or something like that and make sure I don't have a lot on my sponge, and then I will get in, because I want softer edges and that it will like fade into the page. I don't want harsh lines. So now I can just go over and darken all this without any harsh lines, and it's fading towards the inside. So that's my technique to darkening the edges, and I like my corners darker, so I'm getting in more, and this is it. I'm thinking of framing it. I really love it. I really love this crow, and I hope you'll try your hand in doing something similar and play around with vintage paper, or making your own vintage paper. Thank you for watching, and thank you for leaving me comments below. I'll be seeing you in my next video. Bye for now.